the Messiah as prophesied by Daniel. When the nobles of Judah in the south were taken away as captives to Babylon by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon in about 605 BC, the prophet Daniel was among them. There he served the king of Babylon from his youth. Daniel recorded many prophecies about the future of the kingdoms of the world, and Israel in the midst of them. In the following passage, we read the angel Gabriel's explanation to Daniel as to how the history of Israel and the history of this world will interlace as they approach the end. 70 sevens are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish transgression, to put an end to sin, to atone for wickedness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy place. Know and understand this. From the time the word goes out to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the Anointed One, the ruler, comes, there will be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. It will be rebuilt with streets and a trench, but in times of trouble. After the 62 sevens, the Anointed One will be put to death and will have nothing. The people of the ruler who will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. The end will come like a flood. War will continue until the end, and desolations have been decreed. He will confirm a covenant with many for 1 7. In the middle of the 7, he will put an end to sacrifice and offering. And at the temple, he will set up an abomination that causes desolation until the end that is decreed is poured out on him. At first glance, this appears to be difficult to understand. When speaking about a great turning point that would occur at some point in the history of Israel, the angel Gabriel told Daniel that 70 sevens are decreed for your people, Israel, and your holy city, Jerusalem. In other words, God determined a period of 490 years. The angel went on to say that after that, there would be an end of sin. Everlasting righteousness would be revealed, and all the prophecies would be fulfilled. These 490 years are to be calculated from the time the command is given for the city of Jerusalem to be restored and rebuilt. This command was given by King Artaxerxes of the Persian Empire in his 20th year. In the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, when wine was brought for him, I took the wine and gave it to the king. I had not been sad in his presence before. And I answered the king, if it pleases the king, and if your servant has found favor in his sight, let him send me to the city in Judah where my ancestors are buried so that I can rebuild it. Then the king, with the queen sitting beside him, asked me, how long will your journey take, and when will you get back? It pleased the king to send me, so I set a time. King Artaxerxes granted the request of his cupbearer Nehemiah of Judah. The 20th year of Artaxerxes was about 445 BC. Nehemiah was appointed governor of Judah and rebuilt the city walls of Jerusalem. The prophecy that the Messiah would be put to death 483 years, 69 sevens. From that time, 49 years, 7 sevens, plus 434 years, 62 sevens, appears in the passage above from Daniel. Calculated according to the Jewish calendar, it was to be around 30 to 33 AD that this would occur. It was prophesied that during the remaining period of 7 years, 1 7, there would be wars, and the Jewish people would be subjected to religious persecution. According to this prophecy, the history of this world should have come to an end 490 years after the command was given to restore and rebuild Jerusalem, which would be around 40 AD. All the prophecies should have been fulfilled at that time, and the new era in which the Messiah reigns should have come about in this world. So, why hasn't that time come? Why have 2,000 years of history continued to unfold since the death of Jesus Christ? This prophecy clearly states that once the Messiah had been cut off, once he had been put to death, there would still be one more 7. Was it just by chance that Jesus, who appears in the New Testament, died in around 32 to 33 AD? Also, what is the significance of the 7 years of abundance that preceded the 7 years of famine at the time of Joseph? It is a prophetic account that tells us in advance that we have an opportunity for our fate to be changed before the arrival of the tribulation that will be full of suffering and afflictions. We cannot know everything that appears in the Bible, but one point is definitely clear. The angel Gabriel, who appeared to Daniel, said the Messiah was first to die, and then there remained one more 7 years to come. Daniel wrote, "There will be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. It will be rebuilt with streets and a trench, but in times of trouble. After the 62 sevens, the Anointed One will be put to death and will have nothing." We have to accept these prophetic truths as they stand. It is also a definite fact that once that 7 has been fulfilled, everlasting righteousness will be brought in. Sins and transgressions will come to an end, and a new world will begin. Many of the prophecies recorded by various prophets about the suffering and restoration of the nation of Israel and the coming of the Messiah, Jehovah, refer to events that will take place during the final 7. In other words, all these events will take place when the Messiah comes to this world a second time after he died. We can understand this when we consider the image of the many people who came to stand before Joseph during the 7 years of famine, including his brothers who had sold him into slavery and then came and bowed down before him. Also, through the 7 continuous years of famine, we have a glimpse of an image of the approaching 1/7. At that time, Michael, the great prince who protects your people, will arise. There will be a time of distress such as has not happened from the beginning of nations until then. But at that time, your people, everyone whose name is found written in the book, will be delivered. Multitudes who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake, some to everlasting life, others to shame and everlasting contempt. No one yet knows when this 1/7, in other words, the time of tribulation, will begin. It was not even made known to the prophet Daniel that in the meantime, a long period of 2,000 years was to come after the death of Jesus in around 30 AD, running towards the time when the remaining 7 years would be fulfilled. By what power has the man by the name of Jesus been proclaimed to the world continuously as the Messiah, the Christ, through Christianity with its origins in Judaism over the long period of 2,000 years? Is it simply through the theories of a few individuals who thought that Jesus was the Messiah that Christianity came to cover the whole world? If he was really the Messiah promised in the Bible, this is a matter concerning the eternal fate of each individual person and might be seen as the greatest issue in the world. If he was really the Messiah, there is no doubt that the history of Christianity has proceeded until now by the power of the Creator, which cannot be resisted. Is there no significance at all to the fact that in 1948, the Jews, having lost their country and been scattered across the world for 1,900 years, established an Israeli government in the Promised Land? It is clear that it is due to the words of promise of the Creator God, that is, the words of promise he gave to Abraham, that Israel was reestablished. In that case, isn't it also clear that the hand of God is alive and active within the course of history to fulfill the remaining 7 years prophesied through Daniel?